Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Becoming a Powerhouse Brand. Today, I have a returning guest on. We've got Amanda Outram on, who is going to talk to us all about how we can get a return of investment when we speak on stage. Now, Amanda and I are on kind of a similar path in that we are creating spaces for those that perhaps wouldn't have necessarily put themselves forward for speaking, or maybe they just haven't had that opportunity, or maybe they're somebody that wants to speak, but they also don't want to invest thousands of pounds in order to do so because they have a small audience. So we're both creating spaces that are for these people that just want to have that opportunity. But Amanda goes more into depth in terms of actually supporting you with creating your perfect speaking session so that you can get a return of investment. So, Amanda, welcome back to the show.
Yeah, no, really glad to be back. It feels like so much has happened since we did the first episode. Like I've loved watching you evolve as well and like the changes that have happened. And yeah, I think it was high time that we caught up again.
Definitely. I mean, it's been nearly 2 years, I think, since
Yeah,
we recorded that episode, which is crazy.
yeah, I can't believe it. It's wild. I mean, I first
Yeah.
met you in person for a brand shoot in Birmingham. That feels like a lifetime
I know, I
ago.
don't even know when that was.
I know. Just yeah, I no, I've no idea. Too long. Let's not calculate.
So, Amanda, can you tell our listeners that maybe don't know what you do, your background? Could you just tell us a bit into how you got into helping people with their speaking and why this is important to you?
Yeah, well, like most things, I think a lot of us have ended up doing what we're doing by accident. You know, when you follow a passion and something that gets you a little bit riled up. So what I do is, let's start there. I've coined the term stage to sales strategist because it took me a long time to articulate exactly what it is that I do. So I've got a long background in corporate. Um, I was a business development manager selling business to business for years and mastered the art of selling through, do you know, it's the oldest saying in the book, people buy from people. It's all about relationships, trust. That is the biggest factor when it comes to selling. And because I was really good at it, I got thrust into a learning and development role, which I still do by day, still work full time while I build this. So spinning all the plates, to teach the rest of the field force how to sell more on a trust basis, like consultancy. You know, we don't do pitching, pushing, sleazy stuff. It's all about joint partnerships. And then originally my plan was to help people build really good online courses, and to put the quality into what they were doing. And then, long story short, I accidentally ended up being a public speaking coach because when I was speaking to people about building their masterclasses, a lot of it was self-belief,
Mm.
and not thinking anybody wanted to hear what they had to say. um, and that they were going to be boring, and that what they had wasn't important. So it evolved, and then it's evolved one step further because people were coming back to me saying, right, I really want to get clients from the stage. Now, I'm a heart of hearts. That's why I'm doing it. Yes, I want to inspire people, and yes, I want to get up there and get visibility, but we all want visibility because we want clients, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So then I put the two together. So I help people build a stage talk, but with selling strategy built in, but in a really nice, elegant way. There's no pitching. This is it's not Dragon's Den. That's not what we're doing. Because that's the other thing that really turns people off. People say to me all the time, "Oh, but I don't want to sound salesy. I don't want to be pushy." You know. So yeah, that's what I do in a nutshell. And I know people are spending a lot of money to have the exposure on these stages, you know. It's not cheap. So yeah, I help them make sure they get that return, that they get the clients. It's quite an
Yeah.
art, really. There's a science to it.
Yeah. And like you say, it's not about, I think a lot of the time people think that their speaking, their session needs to end in this big hard sell at the end of it. And
No,
actually, it's not at all, is it?
no, absolutely not. It's the exact opposite. People should be ready for that next step for your call to action long before the end of the talk. The sale happens from start to finish. It's the whole thing. And people worry about transitioning into the pitch or how to talk about their offer at the end. Um, but actually it's the whole thing. It's how people see you as a human and who you really are. Things that we're talking about now, like why it's important to you, how you came to that conclusion. A lot of the work I do with people is making sure it's clear how they're different from everybody else, because everybody does something in a slightly different way, the kind of results they get for their clients, but all aimed at the audience so they can see themselves in that talk. Because you want them, like any marketing we do, we want people to sit up and go, oh, hey, that's me.
Yeah.
And that's why I need that. And oh my God, I'm going to grab this person when they get off stage. So that's what you're leading them to. But it starts right from the second you open your mouth.
Yeah. And what kind of people do you help? Because I know for my event, particularly, it's for those that are in the more holistic space, wellness, those kinds of industries where they are literally changing people's lives with what it is
Mm,
that they do, but they massively downplay that when it comes to actually being visible. And they most of the people I speak to would not put themselves forward for speaking. I've actually got people
mm.
speaking at this event that have put themselves forward having attended last year's event, and it's just like completely out of their comfort zone completely. So I would love to know what kind of people you tend to attract into your events.
Gosh, everything and anything. A lot of coaches and service providers. I do tend to attract people who work more in the mindset space and nervous system regulation. I think as it is one of the harder things to articulate. It is
Mm,
hard to explain what you do and what the outcome is and what the process is and how you get from A to B. I think people are always surprised when they have the first chat with me that they get sent away with quite a bit of work to do because there's quite, I think, a lot that we need before we can start to communicate that. I've had top directors in big companies who are going to a panel to put forward a presentation to secure the next level to get to directorship level. I had a guy from PwC. So it's all scales where people are trying to either sell themselves or a service. You're selling something, although you don't want to admit that because people hate the word selling, but it's essentially what you're doing. Um, but it can be done very sophisticated and elegantly. I call it stealth selling. Nobody even knows it's happening. But yeah, I get all sorts of people who work more on like systems and building funnels for people, some more of like the back office type stuff. Yeah, mindset coaches, seems to be a pattern. But yeah, just like all sorts from mindset coaches to people who are going for director level at big, FTSE 100 companies.
yeah. How can speaking actually help us to move our businesses forward?
Do you know, it's the way I explain it, it's like worth maybe like 1,000 reels that you push out on Instagram because in that moment you're there live. And if you get it right, you can get that instant connection and show people who you are as a person and what you're all about. Like you're right there in the room with them. Like a lot of you will know that a lot of your clients, when you look through all of your data of where people have come from, 9 times out of 10, it's somebody you've met or a connection that you've had because you've had contact with that person. You know what they're about. That's why we try and do a lot of speaking reels, talk on stories, because we want people to get to know us.
Mm,
So that stage is like your 20 minutes that's like worth like 1,000 reels and 12 months on Instagram. If you get it right, you're basically collapsing time.
yeah. And how can we, if there's anyone that's listening to this today that's like, okay, I'm amazing at what I do. I've been in my industry for maybe even decades. I feel like maybe speaking is the thing that I'm missing because they don't want to keep churning out all this endless amounts of content
Yeah.
on social media. How do they take that next step to speaking? Because for a lot of people, it's that comfort zone, isn't
Mm.
it? We've never spoken before, or maybe you've had an experience at school where you were made to feel uncomfortable because you put your hand up and answered the question wrong, all of those limiting beliefs that can creep up. But how can somebody go from I already know I'm amazing. I could do a talk, but actually, the actual act of standing in front of a room of people terrifies me to the point where I'm not even going to put myself forward. So I'd love to know what you would say to that person.
I would say like map out those steps. I don't know if you've seen that picture that goes around from time to time. There's two people in front of ladders. One of them has got lots of small little rungs on the ladder so they can easily reach the next one. And the next person stood with like massive gaps and they can't even reach the first rung because they've given themselves too much of a target. So it's making those small little incremental steps. And I liken this. I'm a horse rider, and that's a huge needs a huge amount of confidence on a daily basis. So it's small steps all the time to push that comfort zone. So it could be, do you know what? Next time I go to a networking event and I've got the opportunity to stand up and say what I do, I'll just do that, like to a small group. And it's just remembering there's a group of people who've been where you are and they're
Mm,
quietly rooting for you. People can tell when you're a little bit nervous when you stand up and they're like, people start be like, go on, and you'll probably get a clap at the end because people can see that you're absolutely papping it. I don't know if we're allowed to swear on this
yeah.
podcast. You just got to start small. I didn't go from sitting at home at my desk to talking at huge corporate events in front of hundreds of people. Started one to one in a sales environment. That was terrifying when I first started, just talking to one person. And then I did small group trainings for small businesses where there might be five people, and then you build from there.
Yeah.
But I think people imagine stepping straight out onto stage in front of hundreds of people. You need to just put all the little steps in between and just grow your confidence, find smaller events like mine where you've got an audience of 25, and then like yours would be then another progression, or still a nice small safe audience because yours is, no more than, was it 50, 60
It's up to
people?
60 people. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So find events like that where there's like under 100 people with, values the same as yours, where like, in Jackie's audience, in my audience, they're going to be rooting for you. Like it's an amazing place to start.
Yeah.
And also remember that if you forget something you wanted to say, or you trip over your words, literally nobody gives a shit. Like
Yeah.
people worry so much about being perfect, freezing on stage. Nobody knows what you plan to say, and I totally do not condone scripts and having like a script for each slide and try and remember it. It makes it worse because you get so focused on trying to remember that script and get so stressed about it. Like, your shit, you don't need a script.
Yeah.
You could talk about the things you're passionate about all day long. You don't
Yeah.
need loads of words on slides. You don't need a script. Once you're plugged into that one topic that, what's that? There's like a bit of a trend going on Instagram at the moment, like three hills I'd die on or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, and that's the first part of the process that we do is you do a journaling exercise to plug into what is that one thing that I have to talk about. If you plug into that, that's a huge part of it, and your confidence will just grow.
Yeah. And actually, when you're in the audience watching people on stage, the talks that you are most engaged in and you're listening to every word are the ones that aren't the polished ones that don't have
Exactly.
all the words on the screen, because that's almost a distraction, isn't it? I think if you've got the words on the screen, you're
Yeah, yeah.
reading the words rather than listening to the person talking.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I always make people take them off for the same reason. Like, you know your shit. You don't
Yeah.
need all of that. And you end up being really wooden and you're almost like stuck to those words. You have to, it's going to sound really woo, but then I know your audience are woo, so it's fine. I can go into it. You have to free yourself from those words and that script that you've written because you are literally like talking from your soul. It's that one thing that you care so deeply about. And if you have a script and you have too much words on the screen, you tie yourself to that and it caps your stage presence. It does like the opposite.
Yeah.
Some people feel like they need it as like a bit of a something to cling on to and to follow. But if you just let yourself talk and you've rehearsed the general flow, you get rid of all of that risk of freezing, of forgetting what you wanted to say, and it should come out different every single time. It should come out different, and that's how you reel people in and they can connect with that energy because it's just flowing
Yeah.
because you're just talking and you're excited about the topic and you need to tell people this thing.
Yeah. It's all about the energy, isn't it? People can
It
feel it
is.
when you're passionate about the thing that you're talking about.
Yeah.
100%.
Absolutely. And again, I liken it to like work with horses because they're one of those animals that you cannot fake it with. They can feel everything when you sit in that saddle, whether you're excited or not quite up for it that day. They match your energy. And it's the same when you come on stage. You can feel people's energy.
Yeah,
You get it yourself if somebody walks in the room and they're feeling a bit down. It's like you feel that. It's like, oh my God. It's like a
yeah,
cloud walking in. So it's just making sure you've got all the conditions in place to let that energy flow out freely.
yeah. For anyone that's listening to this now that's maybe got a speaker slot booked in for an event and maybe they're feeling a bit uncomfortable, have you got any tips that you could give somebody that they can do maybe as a morning practice on the day that will help them get into that zone of just going out there?
Yeah, so when I'm getting myself fired up, I always go back to my why and I have like a little chat with myself about like why am I doing this? What am I passionate about? Like what do I care about? And I almost get like riled up in my head and I go back to that. So rather than focusing on all the external stuff like the audience, the stage, the lights, the noises going in around. I know people say touch something, look at something. I'm quite the opposite. I go in and I really connect to that thing. It's like, why am I here? Why do I
Mm,
want to talk to these people? Why do they need to hear this? And just get yourself like pumped, and put on that one song that always gets you fired up. But yeah, you just need to go back to why am I even doing this? Because that is what will connect you back to that topic that literally lights you up and it'll get your confidence pumping. I don't condone power poses. I put a post on Instagram recently that people found really amusing. You won't have me advising things like that. It's all about connecting to that topic, that one thing you have to talk about, and you'll just feel yourself getting all riled up and excited.
yeah. And I think when you come off, when you've done that first speaking session, it's like a weight's been lifted because you've got it over and done with. But actually, you realise that wasn't so bad at all. Like
Yeah,
actually, you might even enjoy it. I know I enjoyed my first one that I did.
yeah,
And people will always come up to you if they felt that your passion in what it is that you
yeah.
spoke about. They will come and approach you and tell you that they really enjoyed your talk. And that,
Absolutely. Yeah, people come up to you, oh my God, you're so brave. I wish I could do that. You're amazing, and you totally own that stage. And yeah, it's quite addictive actually.
yeah, I love that. And I think, like you said, it's getting into those smaller rooms where you feel safe. I think a lot of
Yeah.
people here okay, speaking's an amazing way to grow your business, and it is. It helps you grow your visibility. You can make a lot of money from it if it's done right. But I think there's a lot of people that think speaking needs to be their first opportunity, speaking in front of 100 plus people. And actually,
No.
if everything in your body is saying this feels scary, but not in a good stepping out my comfort zone scary, in a actually
Yeah.
this isn't safe for me scary, then
Yeah.
it's not quite the right room for you, is it? It's finding those spaces that do stretch you a bit, but still feel safe.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's like anything. When you see people on these big stages, you think that they literally just woke up that week and stepped down. That's the first thing they did. And most of us have started really small and built
Mm,
up from there. And that will give you the confidence then to take the next step. But yeah, it's just really important to do what's within your comfort zone. Just push that out inch by inch.
yeah.
And on the smaller audiences, you get to test what you're talking about and what the response is. You'll always want to tweak and add and change things. That's completely normal. You will evolve as a speaker. But yeah, just small steps, take it easy. Don't set the bar too high because you'll just scare yourself off and end up not doing anything.
And in terms of actually thinking about what you're going to talk about, because obviously the natural thing would be to talk about what it is that you do. But I know one of the things that I've really enjoyed doing as part of my speaking journey is exploring different things. So I've done speaking where I've literally spoken about my journey of running a business around motherhood and
Mm,
just gone on different angles. So it's not even really been related to what it is that I do. And I think it's really good to explore those different things because then it will help you with identifying actually which route do I want to go down with speaking and PR and
yeah,
everything that comes off of the back of it.
yeah. Ultimately, it depends on the result that you want. If you just want to go in a room and move people, inspire them, and give them the confidence to push forward on their own journey, then yeah, talking through what you've done, the steps that you've taken if that's what you want, you really want to inspire and motivate people, perfect. If you want clients sliding into your DMs after the talk, that is a slightly different process because you've got to think about all the things that make you stand out and that sell what you're doing to that audience, but picks out the specific dream clients sat there. So you do have to think how you're different. What is it about your process that gets different results? What are you doing that moves people forward where perhaps other coaches stop? As a person, what do people need to know about you and how you work? There's lots of different elements that you then need to build in, and there's like a flow to it. You're taking people through a shift in perspective from where they are now and what they believe to then showing them what's possible. So there's quite a few steps. That is a totally different process. That is a bit more sophisticated. But ultimately, it depends on, what it was is you want out of that experience. For the first time, you might just want to survive. You might, it might just be pure survival. Just get up there, have the experience, have some fun, get off and just show yourself you can do it and just like grow your confidence. It might be just purely that. Most people that come to me want to know exactly how to sell from the stage, but there are also people who just want to get out there and inspire, and just it is just purely the visibility. So yeah, ultimately it depends exactly what your goal is. What do you
Yeah.
want from that speaking opportunity?
Yeah. I love that. And then obviously finding the right rooms that are the right fit for what your goal is.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, mine's always got a heavy dose of humor thrown in because that's just me. I couldn't not. I live for the laughs. It just depends what tone you want to have. And again, that's part of the initial process is what tone do you want to have? Do you want to be more serious and make people think and make them a bit more emotional? Do you want to be high energy? Do you want to make people laugh? Like what, how do you want to be?
Yeah.
But yeah, mine's always got laughs involved. I just can't not.
It's you. It's just you.
I know, yeah, can't help it.
Um, Amanda, can you tell us a bit about your event that you host? Is it a yearly event that you do?
Yes, but it is going to become more often. I've got a little team now, because I am still working full time while I build this. I just can't fit everything in. So it's, as you know, it's huge building an event, all
Yeah.
the prep. Oh my God, it literally takes over your life. Yeah, it's huge. So I've got a little team now. I've taken two people on board to work on it with me. So the next one will be the end of September, and then we're going to aim for quarterly because I don't have a huge group of speakers. We try and keep it to around four or five. So they get a good 30, 45 minute slot to get through the whole talk and all the elements you need to sell. And we have workshops built in. So I can only take so many people, like it is capped. And people are wanting to come in and go through the process and learn. So we're going to start putting them on quarterly, build from there, and then you heard it here first. We're currently looking at stage two.
Amazing.
So once you graduate, as it were, from stage one, then you can go on and speak in front of a bigger audience. And I'm looking at sort of shaking up the way speakers are seen, and what they get out of speaking in quite a big way. So that's all a bit secretive at the moment, but I'm just looking at the next step now and how we take that industry further, because I am hearing a lot of rumblings about people's experience of speaking and what they've gotten out of it, and there's quite a lot of talk about it at the minute. So
Yeah.
yeah, stage two is going to be very different, and that will be a build from stage one. So yeah, there's a lot going on. It was a very exciting meeting
Exciting.
with the team yesterday.
Yay. And where are you hosting your events?
So we're going back to Redditch again. People always say that's such a random location. But I just love the hotel. It's actually a wedding venue. It's stunning. Lots of windows, open spaces. I spent that many hours at big national sales meetings in corporate in hotels. It just feels all stuffy. So I just wanted something really different. So yeah, we're going back to Redditch again. And then who knows? We might go national at the next events and do a bit of a UK tour. But
I was
yeah, at the
just going to
minute.
say you're going to go on tour.
Yeah, I think we should. Yeah, but I went for Birmingham area because it's right in the middle because I seem to have a lot of people down south. I've done them in Manchester in the past, but it's just that bit far for people who are
Mm,
really right down sort of like southeast, southwest. So we went for right smack bang middle of the UK to make it as accessible as we can for
yeah,
people.
it's easy to travel to, isn't it? Birmingham from
Yeah,
pretty much anywhere.
yeah,
Yeah. Oh, exciting. Amazing. So anybody that's listening to this that maybe if you've got your ticket for Light Leaders this year, or maybe you're even speaking at Light Leaders this year and you want that support with making sure that your talk is helping you to get the most out of it, then obviously Amanda is your person that you need to go and speak to. It's kind of a
yeah,
natural next step for anyone that's maybe had that opportunity speaking for the first time. I had a few people that were brand new to speaking at last year's event. I've got a couple this year that are brand new to speaking
mm,
that are feeling a little bit nervous. So obviously they can
mm,
reach out to you before or even once they've kind of ripped off
mm.
that band-aid and done it for the first time at the event, then to go on and help with getting actual support in terms of creating their perfect or not perfect. I don't want to say the word perfect, but
Yeah, yeah, no.
their speaking.
Yeah, and actually the how it's evolved was actually inspired by one of my clients who did stage one for the first time. The first talk was just about communicating what she does, getting more confident. And then she came back and said, I really want to know like how to sell now and convert from the stage. I mean, she still converted from the first one. She got clients out of it, which was great. And it's like I said, these things happen by accident, don't
Yeah,
they? So that inspired like the next stage of evolving it further. Um, so yeah, there's different levels to it, like I said, depending on your goals. But yeah, it's been inspired by what people are asking for, basically.
yeah. I love it.
Yeah,
Amazing. Well, thank you for coming back on and having a chat about what you're working on and how you can obviously help people get the most out of their talks. And also, hopefully, encourage anybody that's maybe not put themselves forward for speaking before to look into it at least and see maybe this is the
yeah,
next step for you.
yeah.
Have you got any final like top tips that you would like to give anybody?
I would just say, please just go for it. And even if you do fumble, trip over your words, I still do it now. And I just laugh at myself, to be honest.
Yep. Same.
Yeah, it's just
It's
like, oh, I've got
human, isn't
my
it?
exactly. It just shows that you're human, that you're just normal. Like it will always happen. And I just say, flipping heck, I'm getting my teeth in a knot today, or I've done too much talking, or I don't know, I just don't care anymore, and neither should you.
Yeah,
Because your audience definitely don't. They don't care about perfection. They care about the impact that you have, the important work that you're doing, and what it is that you care about. You know, people want to be moved, they want to feel something, and the odd tripping over a word, literally no one gives a shit. So
yeah.
please just have a go.
That's so true. And where is the best place to connect with you online?
I'm most active on Instagram. So yeah,
Okay.
I would say Instagram. I've got a website. I'll give you all the links. But yeah, I'm most active on Instagram. I keep trying on LinkedIn and I just can't. It just doesn't work for me. So
I
I'm
feel
sticking with
like it's
Instagram.
one of those platforms that I keep trying it and I know that it's right for me. I know I've got the
Yeah,
clients on there, but I can't get myself out of Instagram because I'm such a creative visual person. I just
yeah,
find the whole layout and everything on LinkedIn is just
yeah,
doesn't excite me to be on there. I'm like kind of creating content because I feel like, oh,
yeah,
get it on
yeah.
there.
No, I just cannot get the knack of it. So yeah, Instagram. That's where you'll find me mostly.
Amazing. Well, I will put all of the links in the show notes below. So please do reach out to Amanda if you would like any support with getting your next, or if you want to even get started in speaking, or if you want
Mm,
to help to make it better. I was going to say
yeah.
perfect then. I was like, what is the other word?
Yeah.
This is a perfect example of not having things perfectly polished. Like you don't
Make it
need to work.
enjoyable.
Exactly,
Yeah,
make it more
make it
enjoyable for you
enjoyable.
and obviously your audience as well. Amanda, thank you so much for coming on the show, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Take care,
Yeah,
guys. See you in the next
absolutely.
episode.